All right, 6 Days in Fallujah.
It's a third-person shooter.
Okay.
Where does it take place?
Stop me if you've heard this one. It takes place in the Middle East.
How long is it?
Unnamed Middle Eastern country.
It has a recharging health system.
All right.
Is there cover?
Do you wear a hockey mask?
There is, but you can't rely on the cover because
Destructible cover.
The one like hook that it has over other shooters is like a pretty decent looking destructible geometry engine. Like, I mean, they made the point, which is certainly justified, that like actual warfare just messes up an urban environment real bad.
Yeah.
So they're basically trying to nail that with the engine.
All right.
So it's like you shoot a grenade launcher. Like the guys are behind cover, you shoot a grenade launcher at the wall, it will blow out a nice big chunk of the wall.
Like,
but it's not like stupid over the top.
Company style?
I was gonna say, like, I don't think it's like Bad Company where you're just like, because in Bad Company 2, you're bringing down like whole houses.
Right.
Now.
Yeah.
So it's not stupid action movie over the top, just crazy destruction.
Like a lot of
maybe
explosive barrels.
I didn't play Black. I don't
like a bunch of Iraqi dudes standing next to big glowing red barrels. It's like I could either shoot the guys in the head or shoot the barrel in the head barrel.
So I mean, they showed very little of the game. It was all hands off, just presentation.
Yeah.
Here's 2 minutes. Here's 3 minutes of the game. Go away.
Is it like is it going for this kind of realistic?
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
super
like,
serious.
Okay.
I mean,
so you have like other buddies with you. You're not like lone dude running through.
They're working with something crazy like 36 veterans of the battle. So I mean, I guess they're trying to nail the tactics there. But it looks like a third-person shooter.
Yeah, I mean, did they say anything about like just the? Yeah, like will those tactics figure into gameplay? Like, is it going to be like full spectrum warrior or something like that?
Definitely not that structured. No, I mean it is a shooter. Yeah. Like it is sprint to cover and hide behind it before it gets blown up. And
right.
Is there a member of the G unit in your squad?
I don't think so.
Tony Yayo was there in the real battle. Everyone, I mean, you can look it up.
He's one of the guys.
It's on Wikipedia. It's on Tony Yayo's page.
That's where he really was.
That's where he really was. He was not in jail.
He was not in jail.
He wants people to think that. It's like the A-Team. They have to break Murdoch out every time. They have to break Tony Yayo out every time they want to record an album or go on tour or something like that. Yeah, and he pretends to be crazy.
And he always gets caught again.
Yep.
And he won't. And 50 Cent won't fly.
That's right.
Doesn't take planes.
I want to know about this Saw game. I want to know how you turn Saw into a game.
Wait, I feel like 6 Days in Fallujah.
We're not done here,
dude. Is that like the most messed up thing you've ever seen? Does it seem like when you look at it, are you just like, why are they doing this? This is too soon. This is why are they like? What are they trying to say? Like, does it strike you as something that is either important or disrespectful, or
is it based
like
on real events? Is it like based on like a 6 day?
It's based on 6 days,
like a 6 day
in
battle.
Fallujah.
I mean, obviously, yeah, it's based on the battle in Fallujah. I'm not clear if it's like an actual 6 day slice of what happened.
Like, I think that the things that I've been reading make it sound like they're trying to
they're actually reconstructing specific events. Like they definitely said that it is a linear chronology. You know, you start at the beginning and then it goes over 6 days. But I wonder if it's a real 6 days that happened. I'm not sure.
Like with named characters, like from the thing.
That would be pushing it a little too far. I think.
Well, like is it Band of Brothers, or like what's the World War II one that's like supposed to be real people?
Brothers in Arms.
Brothers in Arms.
Well, it's not real people.
They're not like actual people. I thought in like the credits they like showed the real pictures of the people or something. No. Like the main squad or whatever.
No, those are fictional characters.
Okay.
Dude, I don't know. I look at it and I see third-person shooter.
Right.
In the Middle East.
The
sort of like the political correctness or whatever.
Yeah.
That is resonating around the concept of this game does not come across when you're just watching it because it looks like a shooter.
We gotta give
it talked about like that they were talking to insurgents about this also, which
Kotaku reported something about that. I don't.
Yeah, they were trying to like get
both sides of
like all three sides, like the civilians, the Marines, and the insurgents, and then they would not get specific about what insurgents they were talking to.
Weird.
Saying if those insurgents tell you where they live, you should tell somebody. When they say here's where you can send the check.
Send something else.
Send them copies of the game.
That's right. Send them copies of the game.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it is pretty crazy because that is very recent history.
Yeah.
And I remember, when it was kind of when first person shooters were taking the shift from World War II to Vietnam, and people were thinking, oh, is that too soon?
Right.
And suddenly we're like, bam, no, like 5 years ago, this thing that actually happened, we're going to recreate it as a murder simulator. Enjoy.
Yep.
For you in your living room.
But whatever,
like how far do you go with that?
But I mean, even if it doesn't say that, it's like it's still in that medium. It's still being trivialized as entertainment.
Yeah.
Well, maybe, they're trying to make them,
But war is trivialized as entertainment constantly.
And maybe
across every medium, every form of entertainment is... Check it out, these dudes fought. Now we're going to show it to you.
Watch this big action battle.
You note that you just spoke in the past tense, but these dudes are still fighting.
Right. That's perhaps the most important difference is that...
Well, maybe they'll put a message in there and they're like actually have some kind of...
Well, that'll be good.
Yeah, something beyond.
That'll make it all
okay.
But at the end, when they list off all the names of the people that actually died in those real 6 days, that'll totally make it all
you can't just throw away and undermine it because it's a video game. That you can't have some kind of substance in there along with the kind of entertainment.
I'm going to go ahead and do that.
That's
in this
terrible.
Case.
Why?
Because it seems opportunistic, and it doesn't seem like the reason that you're doing this is to honor the memories of the people involved. It seems like you're doing it because it's
that is
fresh in people's. Okay.
But once we play,
I would say that past behavior by video game publishers informs that presumption.
I'm totally with you that this feels like a grab for headlines.
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
Right, but I'm saying, you don't know that for sure yet. I mean, you're still presuming it.
Yeah.
You're making an informed decision.
We need to see more.
But you're still presuming it. I would
What do you think, Vinny?
I would like to give them the benefit of the doubt until we see the game. I don't know. It's
I would rather be pleasantly surprised the other way.
Well, I would hate to think that I would hate to think it's just going to be goofy cashing in on this.
I don't think it'll be goofy. I think it'll try to take itself seriously, but I don't think a video game really can take that sort of material seriously. I don't think when your goal is to murder people.
Well,
I
think that at some point, just the trappings of making it a game and trying to make it a fun game are really at odds with trying to represent real combat.
Right.
So they're going to be faced with a lot of really tough decisions of you said it had regenerating health.
It appears to, yeah.
That right there,
right.
Messed up.
Like the color palette washes out when you take damage and you hide behind cover and it starts to come back in.
And that doesn't mean that any games that are out there reflecting war that aren't based on real scenarios are not also messed up, but they are at least a little bit less messed up by not hitting home quite as much as this game has the potential to.
Shouldn't you... I mean, not that maybe it should reference such specifics, but you got to give them credit for at least committing to saying, listen, dude, this is where we are. We're not in the unnamed Middle East.
Right.
We're not dancing or tiptoeing around this, and we're not kind of putting you in this, what war can this be?
Now that they're doing that, they have to back all that up with...
it's a big responsibility.
Yeah, they have taken on a really huge responsibility with this game, and
if you then just have corny LA voice actors doing their best Middle Eastern guy,
right?
Then that's just going to murder it.
Yeah, if you throw in an achievement in there for you got 50 headshots, at some point that's at some point that is over the line,
or a bunch of slow motion headshots, or slow motion kills. If you definitely start to do the kind of if you Michael Bay it all of a sudden, and it's makes this thing super glamorous and not,
then it's going to get ripped apart. I don't think I'll be offended because I'm suburban white kid, ain't never been in no military, so it's I'm not going to look at it and go, you guys, or anything like that. But
definitely
they're opening themselves up to a great deal of criticism.
Yeah. They go the other way and they get all maudlin about it. That's just not something that even the best games pull off very well. Metal Gear Solid 4 with Otacon, having that be some sort of emotional core for your game of my teammate died and I'm all messed up over it. It's hard for games to pull that off.
Well, I thought Brothers in Arms tried to do it. I actually didn't really like that. I thought it was a little too trying to be serious, trying to be trying to have this kind of emotional weight to it that just wasn't working for me. I wasn't believing that this was how people really acted in these times. Something maybe it was, but you're not selling it to me.
So you want a Jeep flying over a dune while that Saliva song plays and then they get out and mow down everybody, and then they get back in the Jeep and Marcus Phoenix says, go for it, yeah, and then they go and do it again.
I want a game. When I want to play a game, I want to play a game, but at some point I don't know. You just got to this point, I think, with war games where, Saving Private Ryan, everybody needs to try and recreate that, and that's what they're trying. That's what everybody thinks is real now. Is this huge kind of storming the beach with explosions going off, and show amputated guys, and show that this ridiculous devastation of war, and maybe that is real. I have no idea. I was never there, but I feel like everybody tries to go for that now. So would be realistic game has you talking to, like, I'm talking to Ryan here and suddenly he's going to blow up. Like, that's how crazy war is.
But you never blow up.
No, I won't blow up, but like yeah.
That's the disconnect. You take 6 bullets, you rest for 30 seconds, the color palette fades back in, and then you keep going.
But I'm going to talk to Ryan, he's going to rush up and step on a landmine, and that's crazy, because that's how crazy...
He was there 1 second and gone the next.
Yeah. So...
Which, that was one of the cool things about Call of Duty 4. Is, they didn't necessarily attach you to all of the characters that well, but just by having you die... in one of the characters you were playing die. Like, that was awesome.
Yeah. So I guess we'll say 6 days.
Let's talk about 6 days in Fallujah.
This is like last week's podcast.
Yeah,
like the last 2 weeks.
Except everything has been flipped. Like, everything that happened last week is now totally invalid.
It's been reversed.
That's right.
Konami has decided not to publish 6 Days in Fallujah, which it sounds like it means like they have canceled 6 Days in Fallujah.
They have walked away from it.
Great. Okay. See what your negativity did, everybody? They just dumped. They listened to the Bombcast.
That's exactly what they said, because of the negative reaction that the game got
in the U.S.
In the U.S., we've decided not to publish it. It was something that Konami in Japan said to a Japanese newspaper.
6 nights in Detroit.
Yep. That's fine. Or, 6 hours in unnamed Middle Eastern country.
We can go with that.
6 centuries on Mars. Totally okay.
We're now, so we've tried to step away from this hot-heated battle. We're now making 6 nights there in the LA riots.
So this game was under development by Atomic Games.
What else have those guys done?
Close Combat, I think, is one of their other things, like PC strategy type stuff. They've done a few other products.
They've done, like 18 Close Combat games.
Yeah. And so I wrote to Atomic yesterday, and they got back to me today with their statement from the president of the company saying, we found out about this last Thursday. We were very surprised. We would very much like the opportunity to finish this game.
Help us out. Here's a PayPal link.
That I guess we need to check in a little bit and see if they walk away from this with the rights to make the game, or if Konami owns some piece of it and has now killed it.
And that's official? Konami put out a statement saying they killed it, or that's just
they said that they're not publishing it. There's no kill, there's no cancel. We are not publishing this game. Okay. Which I take to mean Atomic is working on it. The rights are theirs, and they will totally find a publisher.
Some cash to finish it up.
Yeah, some other publisher that is not as big as Konami will walk in and go, "Dude, this game's already been in hell of newspapers. It will sell X number of units regardless."
Right, like it's got press behind it. It's just
like even if it's negative, right? Like, let's do it. Yeah. So I
Midway.
Yeah, they're totally, and by Midway you mean Warner Brothers. Someone will totally step in and publish this game. I have no doubt.
Really?
That this game will get picked up by someone else. If it will then make it to market, that's another question. But someone will, I'm sure that they have already set up scheduled a meeting with some other publisher, and they're probably shopping around right now, provided they're actually able to do so. That's kind of the one thing that's a little gray right now, is if they're free to shop it, or if Konami owns enough of it to say, we're not publishing it, and that means no one else is either.
And Konami did actually say in whatever press statement they said, because of the negative reaction?
Yep.
Wow. That's
well, it wasn't a press statement, but like you said, it was a quote in a Japanese newspaper. After seeing the reaction to the video game in the United States and hearing opinions sent through phone calls and email, we decided several days ago not to sell it.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
Cause and effect.
Jeez.
Which is on the...
Receptive on their end.
Totally. My trip over to London, someone who had seen the game, I didn't go to the event where they showed it, said, like, we were talking about that event a little bit where they were showing off the game, and he said, yeah, whatever, it looks, it is what it is. I mean, it's never coming out. like, he was already just like convinced that there was no chance that this game would ever make it. So
I'm kind of like torn about how I feel about that. Like, did they make the right move? Like, is that totally seeing reality, or is that
I mean, some people are looking at this and going like, oh, Konami's a bunch of cowards, and it's Konami's a business, like straight up expecting a multinational corporation to kind of man up and do the right thing. It's like, even if that's not necessarily even the right thing,
I don't see that as being the right thing at all.
No, like they are a cutthroat, cold-hearted business. Those Metal Gear games get made because they look at balance sheets and it makes sense for them to do so.
Not because they want to see the story.
Yeah, stop imbuing these corporations with some kind of altruistic principles that don't exist.
That's right.
shareholders, bottom lines. Avoiding controversy and boycotts where possible. Not everyone.
The thing for me is I would not expect a Japanese publisher to perceive this as being that big a deal. Like that would be the thing of just not necessarily getting the Western mindset of why is that a big deal? We play these World War II games all the time. You shoot Japanese and German dudes in the face all the time.
I think if you present them with a bunch of press clippings of people saying this is horrible and the worst thing ever, they're going to get the message.
And apparently they did.
I think that I don't think them being Japanese has much to do with it. But so who do you think picks this game up? Like, who do you think it makes sense?
Who's last?
South Peak.
Sure, South Peak.
I can actually kind of see that.
Yeah, no, it seems this never seemed like a Konami game to me.
Yeah,
this always seemed like South Peak or a number of other publishers that aren't around anymore.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who is left to pick it up.
Acclaim,
right?
Midway, maybe.
Like in some weird way, I know it won't be, but like if EA were making this game, I just feel like it would have a totally different vibe to it. Like people would be taking it really seriously as this kind of like serious commentary on.
Well, I think that whatever. Like they probably would have tried to make a different game at that point too. I think if you're making this game and saying like we really want to tell a realistic story about what happened in Fallujah, and it has regenerating health and a cover system,
right? It would be just the name of the game, the property. I have no idea who would make it. I don't know. When Brad said he saw it, he said it didn't really seem too much that stood out about the game.
Yeah, it's a weird case. Like they said some weird stuff when they were promoting it about like how they consulted with insurgents.
Yeah. Oh, right.
And then made it sound like they for a while like the language they were using sounded like the insurgents had been compensated in some way for their participation, and then Konami had to like quickly issue no, that is not the case. So just weird stuff left and right with that game already. I think that there is a way for them to market and publish that game, but they had already kind of blown it. I feel like just on a PR marketing side, just what they had done already had already painted the game into a pretty dark corner.
No bad press, right?
I guess. Just depends, you also kind of have to have the balls to kind of weather that storm.
Yeah.
It's like you almost want to say like, Rockstar would publish this game, but I don't know that the game is of a quality that Rockstar would go after. Yeah,
they have a very tongue-in-cheek attitude, but not in the way that's not goofy, like not in the way that this sounds, like I feel like they're pretty smart about how they play their satire.
I mean, just even just satire aside, I don't see Rockstar putting out a third-person shooter with a cover system in a military setting.
Yeah.
Like that's just not a fit for them. They're beyond that.
That's right.
I see 2K Games putting that out.
Yeah.
But not Rockstar.